It's so interesting. There's someone that's going to watch this interview that's like, I'm a threat. They didn't mention me, and that maybe just has inspired them to do even more. Because I remember I used to be like that. I'm like, they didn't say my name. Oh, watch this. So you just never know. But we want no smoke. We want no smoke with none of the ladies. Hello. You are locked into Mission Milano Cortina 2026. Perdita here. I'm coming to you from tropical, balmy St. Lucia. I know, I am showing off. I'm on vacation. But the show must go on. Our athletes, winter athletes, they put on our show this weekend. I mean, medals. They were flying all over the place. And in fact, we have alpine analyst Erin Mielzynski. She'll be on the show in just a few moments to help us break down all the fun that happened from Mont-Tremblant. It looked incredible. All right, but first you need to know, P, what happened this weekend? Of course, I got you. Well, I don't have you, but my girl, Mackenzie does. Here's the rundown.
Thanks, Perdita. Well, if you plan on waiting until the Olympics to start watching winter sports, you're already behind because the Canadians are off to the races. That was Marion Tano after winning silver in aerials for her first World Cup podium of the season in Ruka, Finland. And yeah, she knew she nailed it. Over in Poland, Abigail Straight absolutely took off for a silver medal in ski jumping. I'll make the claim right now that this is the closest a human can get to flying. I mean, come on, look at this. Meanwhile, in Beijing, Naomi Ernest is on the podium yet again, picking up bronze in free ski big air after last week's medal finish. Oh, and one of my personal favorites from the weekend, Val Grenier's dream homecoming. She earned a bronze in giant slalom at Mont-Tremblant, where she grew up skiing. How sweet. In speed skating, Canada added 3 more in the Netherlands. It was silver for Isabelle Weideman in the 5,000 meter, bronze for Yvonne Blondet in the 1,500, plus she also picked up a silver in the women's team sprint alongside teammates Brooklyn McDougall and Beatrice LaMarche. This weekend was kind of for the girls. I'm just saying. Anyways, to put a bow on today's recap, Canada brought home 5 medals at the Para Cross Country World Cup in Canmore. It was Colin Cameron, Natalie Wilkie, and Maddie Mullen who took silvers, while Mark Arends and Derek Zaplatinsky added 2 bronze medals. Now that is a haul. The Olympic flame also landed in Rome recently and was lit by Italian President Sergio Mattarella. We are getting very close, Perdita. Back to you.
We are getting so close, Mackenzie. I love it. We call that getting lit. It's getting lit. And someone who had a really lit weekend, Val Grenier, she tore things up from Mont-Tremblant.
I have no words. I just want to keep crying, I swear, because I can't believe it. It's a dream come true. I've talked about it for a while now that, I wanted to podium since my injury. That was the big thing, and I felt like it was coming, but it wasn't quite there yet. And then I said it, if I got a podium here, I was going to be ecstatic. And honestly, I can't believe it happened. I'm so happy.
Rêve devenu réalité. That is my French for saying a dream come true. Okay, don't judge me on that, but I really worked hard on that. But that was what she said. That was a dream come true. And I have someone who's going to help me break this down. 4-time Olympian, former alpine skier herself, also podcast host and analyst for us here at CBC, Erin Mielzynski. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I want to get your sense on the vibes from Mont-Tremblant. I mean, it looked like they really, put on a show. I've covered moguls from there, so I can attest to that. But what was your sense of the energy? And of course, Val giving Canadians what they wanted.
Yeah, it was such an amazing weekend. And watching that race, watching that clip, it's hard not to have tears in my eyes because I know how much Val has been through. She's been through 2 very serious injuries. And so the fans at the bottom know what she's been through. And I think what was really special in Tremblant is that a lot of the fans were kids. And so she's inspiring the next generation of skiers. And her teammates are also a lot younger than her. And so it was just this weekend of inspiration sitting at home and really special ahead of the Olympics.
Oh, I love that. And I think as retired racers, we can talk shop here and definitely agree, sometimes these big moments at home mean more and translate to bigger things than you doing them on any other snow or soil around the world. So shout out to her. As far as it comes to psyche for Val, what does this do? Does this serve notice to others? Is this just something more for her? How do you think that plays?
I think it serves notice to her. I think it was a lot coming back from these injuries, and this is her first podium since her most recent really serious injury, knee and shoulder. And so I think for her, it's saying, you can do it. I can do this again. I can be there. I'm with the best in the world. I've gone through the rehab, and now I've arrived. And I think the statement to the rest of the world is, I've arrived. Like, watch out, here I am. But her skiing is going to speak louder than the words, and she spoke with her skiing this weekend.
And that is a big deal because in her first two races, 11th and 13th, so to jump on the podium at home under pressure, like you said, incredible. Let's talk about Alice Robinson. Two straight, back to back. What is powering her dominance this early in the season?
She has dealt with a lot of success as a young athlete. She was kind of a teenage prodigy when I was still there. And then I think she really struggled with that. There were really high expectations. She had to deal with that. Last year, she was in the hunt for the Crystal Globe, which is the overall of all GS of the season. And she fell on the first run, and she said she didn't deal with the pressure very well. And so over the summer, I think she dealt with that. And I think also she tried to work on things that she's not as good at. So kind of build up her weaknesses to make them strengths. And so you can see that because she's doing well on all different types of hills, all different types of snow. And that's what's making her really dominant right now. And so she said she's in this flow state right now. And I think it also attests to, she reconstructed her team. And so now it's only people from New Zealand around her on her team, giving her autonomy and really believing in her. And I think there's something to be said about like owning what you're doing and believing in it and having everyone around you believe in it too.
Wow, that's incredible what she's done. She's retooled a lot of things, is what it sounds like. Let's move on to the next case. The case of Mikaela Shiffrin. I say that word, I'm not even a skier and I shiver with fear, okay? Because this woman is the one, to me, like all people know her, right? 104 World Cup victories to her name. It's rare to see her not get the win. I mean, she has the most World Cup victories of anybody ever. But in your mind, can you put into perspective just how freakishly good she is?
Yeah, I remember watching her when we were young, and we knew she would be one to beat because it's not just that she's fast, she is technically amazing. And when things don't go totally as planned, which they haven't been in GS for her, she is one to go back, look at her mistakes, not look at them and be hard on herself, but what can she change? And then she comes back stronger than ever. We've seen that in slalom this season. She's been absolutely dominant. And I think that that's what will happen in GS as well. And so she's definitely one to watch, definitely one to fear, but she's also been through a lot. Yeah. And I think that she has kind of filled that bucket and filled those rocks as she's been through a lot, but it'll take a little bit to come back from this. And you can see in her skiing, she's just not as confident in GS. And in this sport, confidence is the name of the game. And so we've seen that with these athletes podiuming race after race. And so I think she just needs to have that breakthrough to really feel that confidence again and kind of eyes are off her right now, which it might be nice to figure out those things while eyes are a little bit off of that expectation.
I know exactly what you mean by that. A little pressure, just work behind the scenes. Okay, I'm going to put you in a hard position because like I said, it's still early in the season. We both know that. But is she still the Olympic favorite, or do you think the field is a little bit more wide open? Should we still count on her for being the biggest threat?
The Olympics are really special because anything can happen. You have people who have never podiumed before on the podium. You have all these wild things happening, especially in an outdoor sport. But in slalom, Mikaela Shiffrin is the one to watch. I think in every event, she's the one to watch because she's so technically good and grounded. I think that in GS right now, there are so many strong athletes that it makes it really fun to watch because it really is anyone's game. And because it is still in around 2 months, there are people that we might not even be talking about right now that might step up. And I think that that's what makes it really, really interesting. And women's GS right now is just such a strong field. And what's cool is that they're pushing it to be stronger. And so it must be cool to be a part of because they're all getting faster, they're all getting stronger. And I think we'll see that at the Olympics.
I want to piggyback off that. If you had to give us, let's say 3, 4, even 5 names of women right now to watch, maybe some that we're not even talking about right now, who are some of the names that would be on that list for you?
Mikaela Shiffrin for sure, Zrinka Ludic, Camille Rast is really strong. Of course, Alice Robinson, Sarah Hector, Val Grenier. And then I think we'll see some dark horses. And there's quite a bit of statistics that it's really beneficial to be in the top 15 to step on the podium. But there are a lot of really fast women in that top 15. So Paula Moltzen, she also podiumed at World Champs last year. And then her teammate Nina O'Brien was 6th before she crashed in the last Olympics. And so I think it'll be a really interesting race. But those are kind of the big names that I'll be looking for.
For sure, that makes sense. It's so interesting. There's someone that's going to watch this interview that's like, I'm a threat. They didn't mention me, and that maybe just has inspired them to do even more. Because I remember I used to be like that. I'm like, they didn't say my name. Oh, watch this. So you just never know. But we want no smoke. We want no smoke with none of the ladies. Last question for me. This is not on my sheet, but I just thought about it. I watch your sport and it is so scary. To be honest, I'm not a skier, but like you guys face so much. And it's funny when people say that about hurdlers, like it's so risky, it's so scary. Can you talk a little bit about like how you guys deal with that fear factor, if that is still relevant for those at the very top and those who are super experienced, or is it something that you just like learn to live with it and manage? Like how do you guys deal with that scary part?
I think it's still scary. I think speed is definitely scarier. There's been athletes that have switched over to technical skiing after being in speed because it is a higher risk if you go down because you're going down at 100 kilometers an hour, 120 kilometers an hour. I think a lot of it is overcoming the risk. You can't think about that. You have to think about the next step, the next gate. As soon as fear takes over, you are moving away from something instead of towards something. But I think it also is a visceral reaction. Recently, we saw Michaela Schifrin congratulating her fiance Kilde after he came down after his first race after injury. And her reaction, I think it's pride because he came back and she saw it, but also she knows what the risks are. And we've seen a lot of really big risks. And so the fear is there. It's doing it in spite of being scared, I think. And for sure you push your limits. And so you kind of widen this birth of fear. But for sure, when you go down Kitzbühel, I don't care who you are, there is fear there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for sharing that insight because it makes it even more interesting and we appreciate watching it the more because that's what you're up against. Erin Mielzynski, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
It is now time for the sauce of the week. And no, I'm not talking about ragu, although I should, because that would be nice right now. But no, I'm talking about the moment of the week when an athlete just does a stylish thing that has us feeling a type of way, fully swagged out. And this week's moment is courtesy of Canadian Brendan McKay, who grabbed the win in the free ski halfpipe at Shaun White's Snow League event in China. You know how much money he won for first place? Because that's what he got. 50,000 USD. Look at him. Bam. Trick after trick after trick. I know he feels fresher than a peppermint because I know I would. Check out all those wild moves. He does it. He wins. Here we go. I mean, he was showing off, but for the right reason, and we love to see it. And the best part about this moment, this is my words, not his, but he capped it off with a kiss from his fiancée, Rachel Carker. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, look at this power couple. So icy, so icy. I feel like I'm being nosy now, but I love to see it. Hats off to you, Mr. McKay. 50,000 USD. Richer. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Well done. All right, y'all. Before we wrap, make sure you're locked in this weekend because things are heating up. Can I say that because it's winter? Yes, I can. It's heating up. Canada's cross-country skiing team will be put to the test at the Olympic trials in Vernon, BC. Only one person has qualified for the game so far, and that is Catherine Stewart-Jones. It'll be a battle for the rest to see who makes it to Milano Cortina 2026. And of course, CBC Sports has you covered with all the action this weekend. Here's what we've got. The women's alpine giant slalom again, this time in Mont-Tremblant. The men's alpine GS in Val d'Isère, and Ski Cross World Cup opener in Val Thorens. Keep an eye on all those. They'll be hosted by my girl, Andy Petrillo. And don't forget to stream the World Cup for bobsleigh and skeleton online on CBC Sports. All right, tune in. Don't miss a thing. I gotta go. I gotta hit the beach. I need me a bevy. Not gonna say what kind. Anyways, enough. Goodbye. I'll see you next week, and I'll be freezing along with you. Bye-bye. See you then.